Politico did this story. Apparently it was like a deep dive. They have it's an exclusive, they say. I love Hitler. Leaked messages expose young Republicans' racist chat. So you have thousands of private messages revealing young GOP leaders joking about gas chambers, slavery, and even rape. And what they did was they took the text messages and they put them in like a text cloud, if you will, where each message is different and a different color. And it's obvious that they're text messages because it looks like just what's on your phone. And it says, "Great, I love Hitler," smiley face. You're giving nationals too much credit and expecting the Jew to be honest. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. When do we bring that side out? And so on and so forth. And they're bad messages. Like, these are offensive. I don't condone these. If anybody is planning on sending me a note and saying, do you denounce it? Sure, I denounce it. I don't agree with these messages. Am I impacted by it? No, I'm not impacted by it in the least. This is a bunch of, like, we don't even know who these people are. If they were people of any report at all, Politico would have put their names in the first paragraph to make sure that they were included in the lead, to make sure that any SEO that went out, the names would get hit first, and it would create and generate, Google hits, like, identifying you as being in a news story. So yes, the leaders of young Republican groups throughout the country, according to them, were involved in this. They said William Hendricks, Kansas Young Republicans vice chair, and then it goes on to describe and then they have the names of these other people. But as I read through it, I didn't recognize one name. These are not people who've ever been in the pages of Politico before. They're not major on social media. These are not people with big, huge influencer accounts. They're not names that you would know. So if that's the case, then they're writing this story about a bunch of nobodies who happen to be Republicans who are saying racist things. Newsflash, there's a whole bunch of nobodies around the country who are independents. They're politically unaffiliated. They may or may not be Christians. They might be Muslim. They might be, whatever. They might be Hindu. They could be anybody doing anything. They have said racist things in their text chats, their threads, their friends. They make racist jokes. They might even have racist t-shirts. Like, who cares? I mean, and I'm saying that in all sincerity. Politico, who gives a rip what these young Republicans have said in their group chats? These are not leaders. These are not people who are influencing policy. They're not the face of the GOP. So do you need to condemn racism? Absolutely. If you are anything acquainted with me, you know that I don't believe in that. I also don't believe that every private message that you've ever sent should be shared. I mean, do you want somebody going through your phone and then Politico writing an article about it? No. Does that excuse what they said? Absolutely not. So why does Politico need this story? Why do the Democrats need this story? Because their poll numbers are in the trash. The Democrats are absolutely outside of anything that would resemble a wave coming into the midterms for 2026, which is coming up. They're already fundraising off of that bad boy. And, that's the joy of having a cell phone is you get text messages from everybody. I've gotten at least 5 text messages fundraising for the Democrats. Stacy, can I talk to you? I'm such and so from the local DNC, and we're having a meet and greet, and we'd love to have you come in and talk about your priorities for the midterm. The Democrats need to push back against the Republicans' overreach and the kings, that, Donald Trump trying to be a king. And I always text back, stop, because, okay, at one time they were talking about abortion, and I texted back, I'm not one of y'all bloodthirsty, pro-abortion people, so stop texting me. But usually I just text stop. But here's the thing. They need something, and this is all they've got. So everybody around the country who's a Republican, you can breathe a huge sigh of relief that this is all they have, because we literally have a situation where the Democrats should be in high cotton with all the pushing back they've done on the mass deportations and every action that President Trump has tried to take. They've just been right there with their knives out, and they've gotten a lot of pushback accomplished. They have slowed down the pace of deportations, not the self-deportations, with the mass deportations. They've slowed down the implementation of DOJ, the savings, the remaking of government, which Trump ran on, and Americans want that, but the Democrats don't want him to have any successes, so they're trying to stop, and they're fighting him on everything. And I just tell you right now, as sure as I'm sitting here black and paying my taxes, they should be in a better place, but they're not, because they are defending criminal, illegal aliens. They don't want the cities cleaned up. They don't want their constituents to live in crime-free cities. They're defending criminal illegals, and they want the illegals to have free health care. We're now finding out, just out today, huge story about how you literally have the mortgage lock by, so people are going to get their mortgage rate, they get a lock, and then they have all this extra money because they're getting subsidized by the government. I was just skimming this story right before we went live on the show. And so all these inflated prices on houses are coming from people who, they're in the country illegally. They've got the job you're supposed to have. They're buying the house you're supposed to be buying, and they got the mortgage interest rate you should have had. Everything that's yours, your birthright, your heritage as an American citizen, has been stripped away from you and given to people who are lawbreakers. They're in the country illegally. And even if they haven't broken any other laws, every day they're here stealing from the American taxpayers, they're breaking the law, and that's wrong. So I want to know why we should care. If it's okay for Democrats to think that Republicans should die for holding views that they disagree with, then why should we care about the text messages of some nothing, nobody GOP young Republicans? Like, why should we care? So in no way am I condoning their behavior, but what exactly is the political story supposed to do? Are we going to now go to these people and cancel them? For what? Being racist? You didn't cancel your own people. You didn't speak out against your own people, Democrats. You didn't speak out against those in your party who have called for the murder of not just Republicans, but their children. We had a guy call into the show last night and we dropped it, but he was calling for the murder of President Trump. So you are going to ask us to get worked up about these, whoever they are? I'm assuming these messages are accurate. Are they real? Like, what vetting did Politico put this through? Why should we trust Politico? We know they're against Republicans. If it is real, then fine, it's real. Okay. These are not going to be my friends. We're not going to be going to dinner. Oh, newsflash. I don't need new friends, and I'm not looking for people to go to dinner with. Why, Democrats, should we care about some racists over here when you got all your racists over there, and your racists are actually causing bad things to happen to real people? These text messages haven't actually hurt anyone. Please show me on the doll where the text messages literally hurt you. Nowhere, because you don't have a doll and you haven't been hurt. So I know we're supposed to get really worked up about this, and we're supposed to be looking to find out where they work or something and try to figure out how we can get rid of these people or do something mean to them. But I'm just here to tell you, imagine me in this is a famous clip now, Stephen A. Smith. He said, "I'm here to tell you, we do not care. Okay, we do not care." It's one of the best clips ever, and it's been turned into so many memes. We are all Stephen A. Smith right now. Democrats, get real. Stop calling for the murder of Americans. Kathy Griffin, clip of her from yesterday, calling Trump Hitler. Why don't you guys address yourself to those in your party who keep calling us Hitler and prompting wild ne'er-do-wells to try to kill us? Why don't you address yourself to that and let these people have their text messages? Because it's probably all that they have. They're probably wildly unsuccessful and have bad grades and also probably bad skin. I'm just saying, we don't care about these people. All right, we'll be back with more after this. Stay right there.